So welcome back to the Piney Woods homestead, y'all. We had to get those grapevines pruned. We've had two 70-degree days back to back, and I told Lisa this morning that those grapevines are going to start thinking it is spring. And we are not in spring, y'all. We are in the middle of winter, believe it or not. We should not be having 70-degree days here at the beginning of February. We're at almost mid-February now, so we still shouldn't be having those. So we wanted to get those pruned because if you don't prune those grapevines, what's going to happen?
No grapes.
No grapes. Reminds me of last year when we pruned the grapevines, we did a whole video on it, and I told that joke about the duck and walking into the gas station getting grapes.
Oh, that was when I think we picked the first round.
Oh, we were picking grapes.
That's when we were picking grapes.
Anyways, you can go back and look at that. I thought it was a pretty good joke. It's what I call a dad joke. But today, we're going to do a little bit of firewood. And if you notice in the thumbnail, I said, is this a $500 piece of firewood? We're going to get into that and talk about that just a little bit. Guys, thanks for stopping in at the Piney Woods. Hit that like and subscribe if you hadn't, and if you have, as always, we appreciate you. Let's get into a little bit of firewood. So y'all, I told you that we were going to talk about, can you make $500 from one piece of firewood? And that is me being sarcastic. 100% sarcastic, y'all. And the reason I'm doing this is I had somebody tell me recently that I probably wasn't going to sell any firewood, or not much of it, if all that we were going to sell was cordwood. And
that we needed to be selling like the small shrink wrapped bundles.
Shrink wrap bundles and chipwood for smoking and this, that, and the other, that we're basically sitting on a gold mine here if we just tap into it. Well, y'all, that's fine and dandy for folks that want to do that. But like we've told you before, we've got a different model here. We are in a certain part of the country
where you don't see shrink wrap bundled firewood.
You don't see it. I mean, very little.
Yeah.
You might see it at a gas station here and there.
I don't even think a gas station. We see it at like our co-op. They'll have just a few
Just
bundles.
a few, and they got them marked down because they ain't selling them.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So everybody's market's going to be different, y'all. But the main reason that we're doing this, yes, we have to make a living. That's what we're doing. But our business is a ministry. It's a ministry. When I was dying last year, the revelation came to me when I was in recovery from dying. the revelation came to me that I'm not all about seeking how much money I can make anymore in this life. It's too short. I can let the dollar be my motivator, or I can offer something to people that is way more valuable than a $500 piece of firewood. And that is our salvation in Christ. So, our business model is we want to help those that are in need. We care about our bills getting paid, sure, everybody does. But we don't sit around and worry that it's not going to happen. And we have always told each other, when the Lord provides, we are going to make sure that He gets the credit first and foremost. We have been working really hard, if you can tell. We've been working really hard. You see it in the videos, you don't see it all. But y'all, we've invested in ourselves with the equipment that we own, with the structures that we're doing on our own. We're investing in ourselves because we hope to be able to help some people along the way. Most people burning firewood, there's about 4 to 5% of the population in the county that we're in North Carolina that actually burn firewood for their primary source of heating. We're one of them. And y'all, we don't do it for the nostalgia of it.
No.
For the excellent smell and how clean it is, because we have an indoor wood stove. There aren't many boilers, as they're called in certain parts of the country here. Not many people have them. There's really not a need for it. Our climate is too moderate or too mild. If we were in sub-freezing temperatures like a lot of the country, probably north of the Mason-Dixon line and further out in the Midwest, more people would have them. But it's a large investment around here. I kind of wish we had done it when we built our home, because it's on slab, but it's been great for radiant heat. But once again, at the time, we didn't do it. You know, it was another major expense that we weren't sure that we'd recover in the short term, so we didn't go that route. We put a wood stove in the house.
And primarily it was just a major expense on top
of it. It was a major
yeah,
expense.
The main...
And, you know, building a house,
yeah.
If you've done it, you know, the cost goes up and up and up. It never goes down. You never get a quote and they say, oh, by the way, you're going to save 10 grand. Yeah. No, it doesn't work that way. You'll get a quote and it might be 10 grand more. Who knows? But y'all, our goal is to help those. We burn wood in the house because, honestly, we can't afford to run the heat pump. It would be a crazy bill if we ran the heat pump all winter. We know because we've done it before the wood stove was installed. And so our goal is to be able to help some folks by, yes, we'll make some money selling some premium firewood. We'll make money selling cordwood to folks that can't afford 100 gallons of fuel oil, but they've got a wood stove as well. Or they can't afford the astronomical energy prices from the local power companies because they can go up every year a certain amount. It's highway robbery, honest to goodness. It feels like highway robbery anyhow. So our goal along the way, if our bills are paid, and they are, but back to giving God the glory here, we've been in rock and hard place type situations, and every time we get there we say, don't worry, because if the Lord can part the Red Sea and let the Israelites walk across on dry ground, He can bring a job so that we can pay our bills the next month. And y'all, He does it. He's done it this month, He'll do it next month, and He'll do it every month. We trust Him. But I was reading this morning. Every morning we like to read our Bibles. And it just gets our day off to a good start. And I read every day in the Psalms and the Proverbs. Every single day. It's been my routine for a long time. I told my mother not long ago, I said, the Psalms teach you how to pray, and the Proverbs teach you how to live. And that's kind of true. But this morning, in the proverb that I was reading, I read it for the day, because there's 31 chapters. There's usually 30 to 31 days in a month. So you can read through it. But today, one of the promises in there, a lot of promises, y'all, was a generous person gives generously, and one who refreshes others will be refreshed. That's a promise. We want to be able to refresh others, whether it is through the entertainment we provide on YouTube, or whether it is to the old widow woman that don't have a couple nickels to rub together and she can't afford the heating oil, but she's got an old wood stove. and she needs some firewood. We want to be able to provide that to people when they're in need. And I believe that if you give generously, you will be rewarded generously, because it tells us so. We're pretty simple folks, y'all. We believe that. We stake our life on it. And so when it comes to firewood, make as much money as you can. If that's your sole source of income, yes, that's great. But don't let that dollar be your motivating factor. If you're in Christ, and if you're not, I hope that you will become that way, because time is short. I found out last year when I was about dead, time is short, whether we're waiting on the Lord to come back or whether you're going to die, because that's going to happen. Time's short. Let your motivation not be the dollar, but let it be, how can you serve others? And we want to serve others. And so that's what we're doing. That's what we're trying to do. And we're not knocking folks that are trying to make as much money as they can on firewood. That's great, y'all. We'll make as much as we can, as much as the Lord allows. And we'll make as much doing excavator work. I'm doing a job right now, thank God. Got another one or two, hopefully, in the hopper. And that's our main source of income, is me running equipment, because I've got years of skills, experience doing that, and I love it. I'd rather dig a ditch than eat when I'm hungry. And Lisa knows that to be the truth. She's laughing because if I'm running it here on the homestead, she'll have to text me and say, you need to stop meat. But guys, we hope that we're a blessing to you. We hope we're pointing you in the right direction, which is up. Not towards greed and the dollar. Nothing wrong with making money, y'all. A lot of godly people are very wealthy, and they use that wealth to help others. So how can you help somebody else this week? Maybe it's a kind comment on a YouTube video. Maybe it's knocking some money off their firewood order because you can tell they ain't got no food in the house. Maybe it's something like that. Guys, y'all have a good day, a great week. We'll see you on the next video.
Good shot.